Yeah, good evening, students. So let us discuss today's paper, AIMTS paper, date 27th. So what is given here? First question, coming to first question, the transition from the state n equal to 3 to n equal to 1 in a hydrogen-like atom results in ultraviolet radiation. Okay, infrared radiation will be obtained in the transition from. Now, infrared radiation has infrared radiation is obtained when a electron jumps from any higher orbital to minimum of third. Okay, third. It can be from fourth to third, or it can be from fifth to third, so on. So last would be third. Okay, lowermost should be third. So according to this, option B is correct. Minimum should be third, not more less than 3. Only then what is it? Infrared radiation will be emitted. Fine. Coming to the second question. Question number 2. What is given here? The half-life of a radioactive nucleus is 50 days. Okay, half-life is given 50 days. Yeah. Yeah, half-life of a radioactive nucleus is 50 days. The time interval T2 minus T1 between the time T2 when 2/3 of its decayed and time T1 when 1/3 of it had decayed. So what is given here? Half-life is given T half. T half is given 50 days. Now time interval, I want T2 minus T1 between the time T2 where 2/3 of its has decayed. So what is T2? T2 means when 2/3 has been decayed. So it's like, let's say this is N naught. 2/3 has been decayed. That means 1/3 is active, right? So N naught by 3 is active after time. T1 is what? T1 is when 1/3 of that has decayed. 1/3 is decayed means 2/3 is active. Then what is time T2 when 2/3 of it has decayed? This is time T2 when 2/3 has been decayed. 2/3. Okay, 2/3 is decayed means what here? So N naught, 2 N naught by 3. So 1/3 is active, right? So N naught by 3 is active. So initially N naught is there. After T1 time, 2/3 is active, not decayed. After T1 time, 1/3 has decayed is being written. 1/3 is decayed means 2/3 will be active. Now T2 time, 2/3 is decayed means 1/3 will be active. What they want? Till here is T1, till here is T2. They want T2 minus T1. This time they want. This time they want. Okay. So within this time, how much is been decayed? 1/3, right? So 2/3 is active, 1/3 is at last. So there is one formula. What is it? N2 by N1 equal to 1/2 power T by T half. Here N2 is N0 by 3, N1 is 2 N0 by 3. So this becomes 1/2, right? N2, yeah, N2 is what? N0 by 3, N1 is 2 N0 by 3. Clear? Should be equal to N2 by N1. If you do N0 N0 cancel, 3 will also cancel. 1/2 T power T half. T half is given 50 days. This is power 1. So T by T half, that means T by 50 equal to 1. T will be equal to 50. Okay, T will be equal to 50. Fine. Next, coming to question number 3. Question number 3. What is given here? The conveyor belt is moving at a constant speed of 2 meters per second. A box is gently dropped on it. The coefficient of friction between them is 0.5. Distance that the box will move relative to belt before coming to rest on it. G equal to 10 meters per second. Nice question. What is given here? There is a conveyor belt. Conveyor belt itself is moving with how much? 2 meters per second. 2 meters per second. Box is gently dropped on it. So there is just a box. It is gently dropped on it. Okay. Box is just gently dropped on it. Mu is given 0.5. See, if while the box has been dropped, what will happen? This, what is that? This conveyor belt is trying to slide towards the right. Na? Conveyor belt is trying to slide towards the right. So, what I want, the distance that the box will move relative to belt before coming to rest on it. So, what will happen is, so let us make 2 points. This is one point, this is another point. Fine. Now, this point is at rest. This point starts moving in this direction. So I want force applied by conveyor belt, on the mass. Okay, on the mass. So here, now with respect to this point will move in this direction. With respect to A, point B will be moved towards left. If point B moves towards left, that means friction force will be this direction. The friction force will be this direction. Keep in mind, students, friction doesn't oppose motion, but friction opposes relative motion. Okay, friction opposes relative motion. Friction is what? Mu times of n. Mu is given 0.5. So now constant velocity is given 2 meters per second. So G is given 10 meters per second square. Now force will be how much? Force. So force equal to here mass. Yeah, force is also a force, right? So I can write this is nothing but mass times acceleration. N is what? N. So I can write again mu. N is what? Mg equal to mass times acceleration. That cancels. A is what? Mu times of G. A is mu times of G. Mu is given 0.5. G is given 10. So A will be equal to 5 meters per second square. A will be equal to 5 meters per second square. Now once I got A, then what I want? Initial velocity is what? 2 meters per second. Okay, then V will be 0. V square minus U square 2s. V square minus U square equal to 2as. V is 0, right? So minus U square, U is 2 square 4 equal to 2. A is how much? 5, which is S. 5 to 10. Okay, 5 to 10. So S will be equal to minus 0.4. Yeah, S will be in negative direction. S will be in negative direction. Magnitude is 0.4. Okay. Next, coming to the next question. Question number 4. Two identical piano wires kept under the same tension T have a fundamental frequency of 600 Hz. Okay, the fraction increase in tension of one of the wire, which will lead to occurrence of 6 beats when both the wires oscillate together will be. Nice. So what is given? Two identical piano wires, identical, kept under the same tension. Both the wires having same tension have a fundamental frequency of 600 Hz. Fundamental frequency is given 600 Hz. Fine. Fractional increase in tension of one of the wire. So one wire has tension T, Another wire, let's say tension T2. Tension is increased in one wire. Other wire it is kept same. Now obviously if I increase the tension, what will happen? See, frequency is equal to what? V by lambda. V is equal to F lambda, right? So V is equal F is equal to V by lambda, and V is nothing but root over T by mu, and this is what 1 by lambda. If I increase the tension, frequency will also increase. So if frequency increases, what will happen? This frequency for second wire only we are increasing the tension, right? So frequency will change only for second wire. Fine. So I want fractional increase in tension of one wire, which will lead to a occurrence of 6 beats. So what is beat? Difference in frequency. F1 minus F2 should be equal to 6. Difference in frequency. 1 is 600, right? So if I increase the what is that? Tension, frequency will increase. So I'll just write here F2 will be there. Frequency will increase, right? So F2 will be greater. F2 minus F1. So F2 will be 600 plus, so 606. This is the frequency after increasing tension. Now they are asking what? Fractional increase in tension of one of the wires. Fractional increase in tension. What is the meaning of fractional increase? That means T2 minus T1 by T1 into 100. This value of what? F2 is given what? 606. I want T2. Okay, F2 is given 606. I want T2. So I can write F1 by F2 is equal to root over T1 by T2. Now T1 is given what? T2 is T2 here. F1 minus F2. F1 minus F2 is given 6. So I can do like this. F1 by F2. F1 is 600 by 606 equal to root over T1 by T2. Fine. Now with this we need to find T2 in terms of T1. We need to find T2 in terms of T1. Okay, so 600 by 606 whole square into T2 equal to T1. So T1 will be how much? T2 will be just let me clear this. Hmm. 606 whole square or 600 whole square T1. Yes. So once you got T2 in terms of T1, you need to substitute this in terms of T1. T1 will cancel everywhere into 100. Okay, 606 divided by 600 into 100. Fine. Next, coming to the next question, question number 5. A converging beam of rays is incident on a diverging lens. Converging beam of rays is incident on a diverging lens. Having passed through the lens, the rays intercepts at a point 15 centimeter from the lens on the opposite side. If the lens is removed, the point where the rays meet will move 5 centimeter closer the lens. The focal length of lens is. So what is happening here? There is a converging beam of rays is incident on a diverging lens. Now what is a diverging lens? Diverging lens is nothing but a convex lens. Okay. Converging beam is there. Beam is getting converged. Is incident on a diverging lens. Fine. Now, having passed through the lens, the rays intersect at a point 15 centimeter from the lens on the opposite side. So the rays are intersecting 15 centimeter from the opposite side, right? 15 centimeters on the opposite side. So V will be how much? 15 centimeters. Yes. The lens is removed. The point where the rays meet will move 5 centimeter closer to the lens. So with the lens, it is meeting at 15 centimeter. Without the lens, it is meeting at 5 centimeter. The focal length of the lens. Yeah, diverging lens is given. So 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by. Now what is given here? There is a converging beam. Now what is the meaning of converging beam? See, if it is given somewhat like this. So here let's say there's a concept. Let's say this is the object. Okay. Now beam is getting diverged. If beam is getting diverged, what is happening? The object is somewhere where the beam meets. Okay, the object is at a point where the beam meets. Now here in this question, there is a converging beam. Converging beam is what? Beam is somewhat like this. Yeah. Yeah. Coming back to the question number 5. What is given here? Yeah, I was talking about a concept, right? So what is given here? Let's say this is an object. This is an object. Okay. Now here what is happening? The rays get diverges from the object. Rays get diverges from the object. Now here what is happening? See the converging beam instead of a diverging lens. So lens is diverging, and if it is getting, and there is a beam which is converging somewhat like this. So here that means there is the object. Okay. With the lens, it is forming at distance what? How much? 15 is given centimeter. Without the lens, it is forming at 5 centimeter closer. 5 centimeter closer. That means without the lens, the rays will what is that? Intersect at this point. Now, without the lens, the rays will intersect at this point. That means this is the object distance. Object is somewhere here. And object is at how much distance? This is given 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter. So object is at 10 centimeter. So object distance is 10 centimeter. Image distance is 15 centimeter. We can find the focal length of 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. Simple. Clear? Next, coming to sixth question. From a circular disc of radius r, a mass of 9 by m, a smaller disc of mass m and radius r by 3 is removed concentrically. The moment of inertia of the remaining disc about an axis perpendicular to the plane of the disc and passing through the center. Yes. So what is given here? From a circular disk of radius r. So there is a disk of radius r. Now what is there? A small disk. This is radius r and mass is given 9m. A small disk of mass m and radius r by 3 is moved concentrically. The moment of inertia of the remaining disk about an axis perpendicular to the plane of the disk and passing through the center. So one more disk has been removed. Concentrically means same center. Concentrically means same center. Somewhat here. Okay. Now what they want? The moment of inertia of the remaining disk about an axis perpendicular. So moment of inertia of the remaining is I equal to, what is the first disk moment of inertia? Mass is given 9m. Radius is r. So moment of inertia is what? For disk, m square by 2, right? So half, let's say this is original, half m r square, 9m r square, m r square by 2. Original disk, what is the mass? 9m. Now I'm removing disk of radius r by 3. I'm removing disk of radius how much? R by 3. So r by 3 if I remove, what happened? What is the new, what is the mass of this disk? What is the mass of this disk which I'm removing? See, density is same, right? Mass per unit area, mass, capital mass, let's say 9m by 4 pi capital R square into area of this 4 pi. This is what? R by 3, R square by 9. 4 pi R square cancel, 9m will get cancelled. So shaded mass is smaller. Moment of inertia of cutout will be how much? Half m. M is how much here? M. Radius is how much? R square by 3 square 9. So this is what moment of inertia of the cutout. Now what I want? Moment of inertia of the left out part. Na? So moment of inertia of left out part will be I original minus moment of inertia of the cut out part. See, both the moment of inertia are in along the same axis. Both the moment of inertia is along the same axis. So no need to shift. Same kind of questions they've asked in NEET where we need to shift. Here, concentrically, both are having same center. So no need to shift. Directly you can subtract 2 from 1. Okay. Next, coming to question number 7. The additional kinetic energy to be provided to a satellite of mass m revolving around the planet of mass capital M to transfer it from a circular orbit of radius r to another of radius r2. The kinetic energy, additional kinetic energy to be provided to a satellite of mass m revolving around a planet of mass m. So there is a planet. Planet mass is given capital M. Capital M. Satellite mass is small m. Radius is given r1. This is small m. To another radius r2. I want to transfer this. What is that? Satellite from radius r1 to radius r2. R2 is greater than r1. R2 is greater than r1. Clear? So here it will be having some orbital velocity, right? V01. Here also it will be having some orbital velocity V02. Okay, how to find orbital velocity? Gmm by r1 square equal to mv orbital 1 whole square by r1. This get cancelled, get cancelled. So v01 will be equal to root over gm by r1. Gm by r1. This is first orbital velocity. Similarly, second orbital velocity is what? V0 2 equal to root over Gm by R2. V02 will be equal to Gm by R2. Fine. Now I got V01 and V02. Now what to do? They are asking the additional kinetic energy to be provided. I want how much kinetic energy to be provided. What do you do? Conservation of energy. A and B. So total energy at A should be equal to total energy at B. Like same kind of concept we have used in what is that? To find the escape velocity. Same concept is there, right? Total energy at A is how much? Kinetic energy at A, that is half m v naught orbital velocity 1 whole square plus potential energy at A is minus g m m by r1 equal to half m v naught 2 whole square minus g m m by r2. Okay. Plus they're asking additional kinetic energy to provide it, na? Plus k. Plus k. So how to find k? This whole thing subtract by this. Okay. Answer will be C. This one. Half gmm by 1 by r minus 1. This whole thing is to subtract. Take this towards the right and subtract. Half m will be common. V naught whole square. What is V naught 2 whole square? Gm by r2 na? This is Gm by r1 minus Gm will be common. Okay. Next, coming to question number 8. A student measures the distance traveled in free fall of a body initially at rest in a given time. He uses the data to estimate g, the acceleration due to gravity. If the maximum percentage error in measurement of the distance and the time are E1 and E2, measurement of distance and time, percentage error in measurement of distance, percentage error in distance is given E1 and percentage error in time is given E2. The percentage error in estimation of G is. So student measures the distance traveled in a free fall body initially at rest. U is given how much? 0. S equal to ut plus half it square. That means half gt square. So this becomes 2s by t square equal to g. So I can write percentage error in g equal to percentage error in s plus 2 times of percentage error in t. What is percentage error in s? E1 plus twice of percentage error in t. This is E2. E1 plus twice of it. Option A. So first you need to write the formula. Okay, first you need to write the formula. Whatever you want, it should be in the right hand side. Rest all these things you should keep in left hand side. 2 is a constant, so it won't have any error, right? 2 is a constant. Next. Question number 9. What is given? A condenser of capacity C is charged to a potential difference V1. The planes of the condenser are then removed to an ideal inductor of inductance C. The current through the inductor when the potential difference across the condenser reduces to V2. So it's a concept of LC oscillations. So there is a condenser C and there is an inductor. Let's say this is L. Clear? Now, initial potential is given V1. The plane of the condensers are then connected to an ideal insulator. Planes means nothing but the plates. This is not planes, that is plates. The plates of the condenser are then connected to idle inductor of inductance L. The current through the inductors when the potential difference across the condenser reduces to V2. So V1, what is that? Potential is changing from V1 to V2. So Q is equal to what? Charge in the capacitor. Q will what? Q is equal to Q naught cos omega t. What I want? I want current. Current will be what? dq by dt. dq by dt. This is nothing but I. So if I differentiate d of q naught cos omega t by dt, if I differentiate, what will get here? Q naught will be out. Cos theta is minus sin theta. So omega, this is minus sin omega t. Okay, I is how much I got? I is equal to minus q naught omega sin omega t. Now Q naught is what? Initial potential is V1, capacitance is C. So C is equal to Q by V. So Q naught will be C times of V1 omega. So in LC oscillations, what is omega? Omega equal to, right, 1 by root over LC. You write 1 by root over LC. Sin omega t, I can write as 1 minus cos square omega t power 1 by 2. Yes or no? 1 minus cos square omega t power 1 by 2. Yeah, how I got sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. So sin square theta is 1 minus cos square theta power 1 by 2. Next. C into V1. This is what? Q naught. C into V2. This is Q dash, you can say. If we divide, C will get cancelled. V1 by V2 is Q naught by Q1. Next. Again, what to do is, C is there, this is root over C. So this becomes here. Cos omega t value, how I will write? Q by Q naught, na? Cos omega t will be how much? Q by Q naught. See how to find Q by Q naught. Cos omega t value, Q is given here. With this I can find Q. Q equal to Q naught V2 by V1. Q is equal to Q naught V2, Q naught V2 by V1. Q naught get cancelled. Cos omega t is V2 by V1. So this becomes V2 by V1 whole square. Minus C V1 by root over LC 1 minus V2 by V1 whole square. Power 1 by 2. So further if you solve, you will get option C. You just need to multiply A minus B, this whole thing, square it and bring it inside. Square it and bring it inside. If you square and bring it inside, L will be there, right? L will be there. C V1 square, this will be cancelled out. This whole thing you need to square it and you need to bring it inside the root. Next, coming to question number 10. For transistor action, theoretical question, easy one. For transistor action, base emitter and collector regions should have similar size and doping concentration. No, similar size should not be there, na? emitter is larger. Sorry, emitter is moderate size, base is thin, collector is large. The base region must be very thin. Yes, base region should be very thin and should be lightly doped, right? So that what is that? All the electrons and electrons and holes, they should not recombine. B is correct. Now C, emitter base junction is forward bias, base collector reverse. Yes, reverse bias. B and C is correct. So option B. D, both the emitter base junction as well as base collector reverse forward bias. Coming to question number 11. The following figure shows a logic gate circuit with 2 points A and B. Yeah. The following figure shows a logic gate circuit with 2 points A and B and the output Y. The voltage waveform A, B, and Y are as voltage waveform. So how to study this? This is A0, this is A, this is B, this is Y. A is 0, B is also 0, Y is giving Y 1. Next A is 0, B is 1, Y is also 1. Next A is 1, B is 0, Y is 1. Like this. So once you got the truth table, based on the truth table, you have to check which logic gate is correct. So what are the gates we have here? We have here OR gate, AND gate, NAND gate, and NOR gate. So OR gate, what happens? So OR gate input should be only one, na? So OR gate definitely is not an option. AND gate, what happens? AND gate. 0 is there, 1 is there. 0, 0, here it is 1. OR gate, this is not. OR gate, this is OR gate, right? Option 1, OR gate. OR gate is yes, OR gate has 2 inputs. Okay, AND gate is also having 2 inputs. You just need to put 0, 1 as one's outcome. Here again 0, 1 outcome. Based on the outcome, you should check the truth table. So C will be correct. NAND gate truth table will be same as ABY. See. Next. Question number 12. Center of gravity of a body is the point at which the weight of the body acts. B is center of mass coincides with the center of gravity if the earth is assumed to have infinite long radius. Okay, nice question. Now you should know about what is center of gravity and what is center of mass. See, center of mass is the point where all the mass get coincide, whereas center of gravity is the point where the net gravitational force is acting. See, let's say this is Earth. If there is an object which is huge, length is huge. Now the mass of the object which is closer to Earth, will be attracted with much larger force, whereas mass of the object which is far away from Earth will be attracted with a much lighter force, because as we go up, g decreases, right? So center of gravity won't be center of mass. Getting? Now center of gravity of the body is the point where the weight of the body acts. Yes, option A is correct. B is correct. Center of mass coincide with center of gravity if the Earth is assumed to have infinite radius. Yeah, center of mass will coincide with center of gravity if Earth has infinite radius. If Earth is assumed to have infinite radius, then no object will be as huge, right, than Earth. So in that case, what happens? Center of gravity and center of mass will coincide. A and B will be the correct option. Next question number 13. Question number 13. The engine pumps water out of a hose. The engine pumps water through a hose pipe. Water passes through the pipe and leaves it with a velocity 2 meter per second. Mass per length of water in the pipe is 100 kg per meter. What is the power of the engine? Water passes through the pipe and leaves with a velocity. Velocity is given 2 meter per second. Mass per length of water in the pipe is 100 kg per meter. 100 kg per meter. So let's say there's a pipe. This is 1 meter. So I want power, right? So velocity is what? 2 meter per second. 2 meter per second. That means the water is traveling 2 meter in 1 second. Q is equal to what? Rate of mass dm by dt. Density is mass by volume, right? Mass by volume. Mass will be density time volume. I can write mass will be what? Density times volume. Volume is area of base into length. This is by dt. This is V. Or you can do like this. Velocity is already given 2 meter per second. Work done will be how much? Work done. See, time is 1 second. Time is equal to 1 second. Okay. Work done is equal to water passes the pipe 100 kg per meter. 100 kg per meter. Mass per length of water in the pipe is 100 kg per meter. So in 1 second, 200 kg will be there. 2 meter, right? Length is equal to 2 meter. Let's say length is equal to 2 meter. So in 1 second, mass will be how much? 200 kg. Okay. Mass is 200 kg, time is 1 second, length is 2 meter. So power is equal to what? Work done by time. So here this can be initial kinetic energy. Let's say final kinetic energy half mv square minus initial kinetic energy 0 divided by 10. So half m, mass is what here? Mass is how much? 200 kg. Let's say initially it was at rest. So initial kinetic energy is 0. Final kinetic energy is 2 meter per second. So half mv square divided by time. Time is how much? Within 1 second. This is how you find power. Work done is what? Changing kinetic energy. Work done is changing kinetic energy. Next. Question number 14. A cylindrical metallic rod is thermal contact with two reservoirs of heat at two ends conducts an amount of heat Q in time t. The metallic rod is melted and the material is formed into a rod of half the radius of the original rod. What is the amount of heat generated by the new rod when placed in thermal contact with the two reservoir in time t? So there is a rod given. Temperature, let's say this is TH, this is TL. Heat will flow. No? So V is equal to I. What is it? TH minus TL. V is equal to I. What is it? TH by TT into R. R is equal to rho L by A. This is the formula. Now what they are saying? dq by dt is same, conductivity is same, melted and the material is formed into a rod half the radius. A will change. What is the amount of heat connected by the new rod when placed in thermal contact with the two reservoir in time t. Yes. So first equation will be Th minus TL equal to Q. Two ends connected the amount of heat Q in time t. Q by T. Let's say conductivity is K, length is L. A cylindrical metal rod is thermal contact with two reservoir of heat. At its two ends connects the amount of heat Q in time t. Metallic rod is melted, so volume will be same, right? Volume will be same, and the material is formed into a rod of half the radius. So material is same. I just write V. So into A. This is V, right? Volume is same. Volume will be same. So into A square element. So A into A. This is volume. This is A square. Getting? So same time I want same potential difference. I want Q. So same potential difference. This is TH minus TL. Let's say Q dash by T. This is A1 A square into A dash. Half the radius of the original rod. A dash will be what? So A2 will be what? Pi R2 square. R2 is what? R1. So A2 will be E1 by 4. A1 by 4. So this becomes A2 is A1 by 4 whole square divided. So 1 by K into V. This will cancel out. TT will cancel out. 4 square 16. 16 will be there, right? So Q1 into 16 is equal to Q. Q1 will be equal to Q by 16. Okay. Option C. Next, question number 15. Question 15. The lens having focal length f and aperture of diameter t forms an image of intensity I. Aperture of diameter t by 2 in central region of lens is covered by a black paper. Focal length, and okay, if I cover a lens with black paper, focal length doesn't change. So that means A and B are totally out. Sorry, A and C is totally out. So either B is correct or D is correct. Now intensity they are asking, right? So D by 2 is covered, na? So I by 4 will decrease. Original intensity is I by 4 will decrease. So next intensity will be 3I by 4. So D is the correct answer. Question number 16. Curie temperature is the material above which. So above Curie's temperature, what happens? A ferromagnetic substance become paramagnetic. Na? Ferromagnetic substance become paramagnetic. That is the Curie's temperature, right? So option C is correct. Theory based questions. Question number 17. A galvanometer of resistance 50 ohm. Galvanometer of resistance 50 ohm is connected to a battery of 30 volts along with a resistance 2950 ohm in series. The full scale deflection 30 divisions is obtained in the galvanometer. In order to reduce the deflection to 20 divisions, the resistance in the series should be. Okay, nice question. So G is given how much? 50 ohm is connected to a battery of 30 volts along with a resistance of. So this is 50. This is 2950. Okay. This is given 3 volts. 3 volts. Full scale deflection of 30 divisions is obtained in the galvanometer. So full scale deflection is given 30. So what is the net resistance? 2950 plus 50. Okay. So current will be how much? Current will be V is equal to IR, no? V by R. 1 by 1000. This is what ampere. This much ampere is the current. Now what is happening? How much, in order to reduce the deflection to 20 division, the resistance in series should be. So here it I into what galvanometer shows? It shows I into G. This is the deflection, right? This is given 30. So I is given 1 by 1000 into G. G is given 50 equal to 30 divisions. It's given 30 divisions. Now I want 20 divisions. The resistance in series should be. So if I want 20 divisions, current should decrease. So let us say this is R resistance. If it is R resistance, the net resistance will be how much? It should be 300 plus R. 300 plus R. So I will be how much? I is 3 by 300 plus R. This is the current. So I into I dash into G should will be 20 divisions, right? So I dash is how much? 3 by 3000 plus R into G. G is given how much? 50 should be equal to 20 divisions. Divide this equation 1 and equation 2. Divide equation 1 and equation 50 will cancel. 50 will cancel. Okay, that means 3 by 2. So yeah, equation 1 and equation 2. This becomes 1 by 3. 1 by 3 into 3000 plus R by 1000. 50 cancel. Equal to this is 3 by 2. Okay. With this you can solve. Next, question number 18. Question number 18. A mass of 2 kg is put on a flat pan attached to a vertical spring fixed on the ground as shown in the figure. The mass of the spring and the pan is negligible. When pressed slightly and released, the mass executes a SHM. The spring constant is 200 Newton per meter. Watch with the minimum amplitude of the motion so that the mass gets detached from the pan. Okay, a mass of how much given? 2 kg is put on the flat pan attached to a vertical spring. This mass is given 2 kg. On a ground, vertical is fixed on a ground as shown in the figure. Mass of the spring and the pan is negligible. Okay. When pressed slightly and released, the mass executes a simple harmonic motion. Yeah. The spring constant is 200 Newton per meter. What should be the minimum amplitude of the motion so that the mass gets detached from the pan? Yeah. Minimum amplitude means what? See, while I press it, whatever point I will press, that is the amplitude. Listen, while I will press it, whatever point I will press, till there, that is the amplitude, right? Yes. Whatever distance I will press till there, that is the amplitude. Clear? Now, so is it mass is given 2 kg? flat pan is there. So at this point, what is the net force? At this point, what is the net force? Downward force is how much? 2g. Okay, that's the downward force. Spring force will be upwards, k times of x. K times of x. Okay, now it will move upwards. That is kx minus 2g equal to 2a. Net force equal to mass times acceleration. Yeah. So what is happening here? K times x should balance out mg. Should balance out mg. Okay. Now x is given what? X I need to find. Mg is 2 into g is 10 by k is 200. One by 10 into 100, right? This will be 10 centimeter. 1 by 10 meter, so into 100, that is 10 centimeter. Fine. Option question number 19. This is option C. Question number 19. Assuming the sun to have a spherical outer surface of radius r radiating like a black body at temperature T degrees Celsius. So sun is there. Sun temperature is T degrees Celsius. The power received by unit surface at a distance r from the center of the sun. So it's a black body. Now power radiated will be what? E times E times A. So E is what? Sigma T power 4. A is what? 4 pi r square. This is P out. So intensity at point R will be equal to P out divided by 4 pi r square. So that means sigma T power 4 pi small r square divided by 4 pi capital R square. Yeah, obviously temperature should be in Kelvin. Temperature should be in Kelvin. T degrees Celsius given, it should be in Kelvin. So it should be 4 pi cancel. Option A is correct. Next question number 20. A particle executes SHM with the amplitude A. The period of oscillation is T. The minimum time taken by the particle to travel half of the amplitude from the equilibrium position. The minimum time taken from half of the amplitude from the equilibrium position. So let's say this is mean position. This is half of the amplitude. Na? The particle has SHM oscillated with amplitude A. Amplitude is given A. The period of oscillation time period is given T. The minimum time taken by the particle to travel half of the amplitude from the equilibrium. So x is given how much? T by 2. A by 2. X equal to A by 2. Okay. So x equal to A sine omega t. Na? X equal to A by 2 equal to A sine omega t. A get cancelled. Omega t is what? 30 degree, that is pi by 6. Omega is 2 pi by time period t equal to pi by 6. Cancel. T is equal to t by 12. So t by 12. T. Clear? Now question number 21. Question number 21. A hollow tube, a hollow cylinder has a charge q coulombs within it. If the flux, electric flux in units of voltmeter associated with the curved surface B, the flux linked with the plane surface A in unit of voltmeter will be. Charge is given Q. Total flux will be what? Q by epsilon naught. Total flux is flux due to curved surface plus 2 times of flux due to A and C. Okay. Hollow cylinder has a charge Q coulomb within it if is the electric flux, if phi is the electric flux in unit of voltmeter associated with the curved surface B. So for the curved surface, it is B. Okay, so 2 phi will be equal to Q by epsilon naught minus, I want due to A na. Curved surface, it is given phi. So 2 phi A will be Q by epsilon naught minus phi. So phi A will be Q by epsilon naught minus phi. This is 1 by 2. Next. Question number 22. A primary and secondary coil of transformer have 1,500 turns respectively. Magnetic flux Q phi linked with the primary coil is phi is equal to phi naught plus 40, where phi is in webers, t is a time seconds, phi naught is a constant. Output voltage across the secondary coil is. Okay, so number of turns in primary coil by number of turns in secondary coil equal to V in primary by V in secondary. This we know, right? So this is given how much? 50 by 1500. Primary coil flux is given. So potential I can find na? E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So phi naught is a constant. D phi by dt, this becomes 4. This is in primary. So primary, this is 4. 5, 3, 15, 0. So 4 by Vs. Vs will be equal to 120 volts. 4 into 3. 4 into 3. This is 120 volts. Question number 23. The current shows if a connecting wire is connected between the points A and B, the current in this wire will flow from A to B, flow in the direction which will be decided by the value of V. B0, flow from B to A. Flow from B to A. 1 second, I'm getting a call. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you give me today your intake and outtake, sir?
Yeah, sorry students, video got disconnected. Yeah, in the circuit shown, the what is happening here? The connecting wire is connected between the point A and B. The current in the wire will what will happen? Flow from B to A. See here, this is 4 ohm, na? So potential A will be lower. Here it is 1 ohm. Potential B will be higher. So it will flow from B to A. Current will flow from higher potential to lower potential. Next. Number 24. What they are asking here, velocity of a particle at time t is given by v is equal to at plus b by t plus c, where a and b, c are the constants. The dimension of a, b, and c are respectively. I want dimension of a, b, and c. So there is some connection problem, students. Yeah. So velocity is given v is equal to at plus b by t plus c. B by t plus c, and the dimension of a, b, and c are respectively. So here dimension of a, b, and c. C dimension will be time only, na? C dimension will be time. So C dimension is time. So we can say option A is correct because it is being added with time. Na? It is being added with time. C dimension is time. Question 25. 25. The Earth is assumed to be a sphere of radius r. A platform is arranged at a height r from the surface of Earth. The escape velocity of the body from the platform is fv, where v is the escape velocity of the surface of Earth. Find the value of f. Yeah, nice question. So there is a platform. I want escape velocity from here. So let us say v. Total energy at A is how much? Half m v square minus g m. Platform is arranged at a height r from the surface of mg by 2r. Total height will be 2r. Now this is r, this is also r. Equal to escape velocity, right? So it should be 0. It should be 0. So half m v square. Let's say this is v2 equal to g m by 2r. 2 will get cancelled. Will get cancelled. This is one equation we got. v2 whole square is equal to gm by r. Now, from the Earth, escape velocity is given v. From the Earth, this is given v. From the Earth, escape velocity will be how much? Half mv square equal to gm by r. Na? Yes. So v will be equal to get cancelled, root over 2gm by r. This is v. So v2 is given f times of v. v2 is given f times of v. So I want what? F square on both sides. So this is gm by r. Na? Gm by r. So find the value of f. So this is gm by r equal to f square. V is how much? V square 2 gm by r. Cancel. Will be 1 by 2. Conservation of total energy need to apply. Now question number 26. Question number 26. Power distributed across the 8 ohm resistor in the circuit shown here is 2 watt. The power distributed in watt unit across the 3 ohm resistor. Across 8 ohm resistor in the circuit shown here is 2 watt. Okay, power is 2 watt here. Power is what? V into I. Na? This is, let's say, I1. This is I2. I equal to what? I1 plus I2. The power distributed in watt unit across 3 ohm resistor. So if I can find I2, I can find power here, right? So power at 8 ohm is given how much? I square R equal to power. This is given 2 watt. So I1 square R is given. Resistance is 8 equal to 2, right? 2, 4. So I1 square is equal to given 1 by 4. I1 will be equal to 1 by 2. I1 will be equal to 1 by 2. I2 will be how much? This is 4. This is 1 by 2. Na? So 8 times 1 by 2 equal to I2 times 4. 4 to I2 will be 1. I2 I got 1. So power here is what? I2 square times 3. This is power. So I2 square means 1 square. Power will be 3. Option D. Now coming to question number 27. Question number 27. The work function of metal A, B, and C are respectively 1.92, 2 electron volts, 5 electron volts according to Einstein equation. The metals which will emit photons for a radiation wavelength is or are. Work function is what? Phi. So for emission of what is that? Electron, minimum h nu should be equal to phi. Na? H mu should be equal to phi. Solve it. You will get the answer. Hc by lambda equal to phi. We have done this given for 1000 angstrom. 12400 by 4100. Okay. It should be greater than 5. Next, question number 28. Two charges Q1 and Q2 are placed 30 centimeter apart as shown in the figure. Third charges Q2 is moved along the arc of circle of radius 40 centimeter from C to D. The change in potential energy of the system is Q3 4 pi epsilon K, where K is. Okay, two charges Q1 Q2 are placed 30 centimeter apart. The change in potential energy. So where K is change in potential energy UD minus UC. So UD will be how much? K Q3 Q2 by 10 plus K Q3 Q1 by 40. This is UD minus UC. UC will be how much? K Q3 Q1 by 40. This will be 50 na? Plus K Q3 Q2 by 50. This is how I want to solve. Change in potential energy equate with Q3 4 pi epsilon times K. You need to find K. Next, question number 29. Electron moves in a circular orbit with a uniform velocity v. It produces a magnetic field B at the center of the circle. Radius of the circle is proportional to. So, circular velocity v. It produces a magnetic field B. See, current is what? Charge by time. That means Q times the frequency. So that means Q time period is 2 pi by omega. Or 2 pi r by v. V will go up. This is how current, right? Magnetic field is what? V naught I by 2 pi r. Substitute current here. So mu naught q v by 2 pi r. This becomes whole square. Based on this, find the proportionality. Question number 30. Fusion of nuclei is possible because the binding energy per nucleon in them decreases with mass number at low mass numbers. No. Increases with mass number at low mass numbers. Decreases with mass number at high mass. Yes, at high mass number due to fusion, it will decrease. Okay, binding energy will decrease. So option C. Third one, network of 4 capacitors C1, C2, C3 is given. Ratio of charges at C2 and C4. Charges at C2 and C4. C4 is what? Potential is V. C4 potential is V. C1 is given C. C2 is given 2C. C3 is given 3C. C1 is given C. C2 is given 2C. C3 is given 3C. Okay. The ratio of the charges on C2 and C4. So on C2 and C4, what is the ratio of the charges? That's what they asked. On C4 will be how much? C is equal to Q by V. Na? Q will be equal to C4 times V. Q will be equal to C4 times V, nothing but V times 4C. V times 4C. Here C, 2C, 3C. C equivalent you need to find. C equivalent you need to find. Then you need to find charge. 1 by c plus 1 by 2c plus 1 by 3c equal to 1 by c equivalent. So 3 to 6 c cube. So this becomes 6c square plus 3c square plus 2c square. C square common. This becomes 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 11. 11 by 6c equal to 1 by c equivalent. C equivalent will be 6c by 11. Okay. Once you got c equivalent, b is there, you can find q equivalent, and same charge will be there. Same charge will be there because all three are in series. Question number 32. A drum of radius r, mass m, rolls down without slipping along an inclined plane of angle theta. The frictional force converts translated energy into rotation. Yes. So due to friction only it will rotate, right? Due to friction only it will rotate. So that's why it converts translated energy into rotation. Equation 33. Equation of state for 5 gram of oxygen at a pressure P and temperature T, where occupying a volume V will be 5 gram of oxygen, na? And number of moles will be mass by molecular weight. Molecular weight 32. PV is equal to nRT, 5 by 32. 34. 1 mole of an ideal gas at an initial temperature of T Kelvin goes 6 joules of work adiabatically. If the ratio of specific heat of gas at constant pressure and a constant volume is 5 by 3, the final temperature of gas. 1 mole of an ideal gas at an initial temperature. Number of moles is given 1 mole. T Kelvin, initial temperature is T. Does 6 joules of work adiabatically. Work done is equal to 6 R. If the ratio of specific heat of the gas at constant pressure, so gamma is given 5 by 3. Find final temperature. T final is equal to question mark. T initial is given T. Okay. Adiabatic process, what is that? PV power gamma is equal to constant. Based on that, you can find the answer. Question number 35. If a ball is thrown vertically upwards with speed u, distance covered during the last t seconds of an ascent is half gt square. Last t seconds, na? You can take same last t seconds will be same distance traveled from top to this same distance. So initial velocity you can consider 0. So it becomes half gt square. Okay. Now question number 36. The particle moves along a circle of radius 20 by pi meter with constant tangential acceleration. If the velocity of the particle is 80 meters per second at the end of the second revolution after motion has begun, the tangential acceleration is. Particle moves along a circle of radius. Radius is given 20 by pi meter with constant tangential acceleration. If the velocity of the particle is 80 meters per second at the end of second revolution, constant tangential acceleration, let's say it is 80. Velocity of particle is given omega final is 80 meters per second, and theta is given second revolution. At the end of second revolution, first revolution is 2 pi. Second revolution is what? 4 pi. Na? The tangential accelerations. Radius is given. Initial velocity is given, let's say 0. I can find alpha. Once you got alpha, A is equal to R alpha. Okay. Here, how to get alpha? Omega naught whole square omega final whole square minus omega naught whole square is equal to 2 alpha s. With this you get alpha into r, you get a tangential acceleration. Next, question number 37. The vector sum of two forces is perpendicular to their vector differences. In that case, the forces vector sum of two forces is perpendicular to their vector differences. In that case, the forces are equal to each other in magnitude. Yes, obviously they will be equal to each other in magnitude. 38. The observer moves towards the stationary source of sound with speed 1/5 of the speed of sound. The wavelength and frequency of the source emitted are lambda and f respectively. The apparent frequency of wavelength. Observer moves towards the stationary source. Source is stationary. Observer is moving towards the stationary source. Okay, so f will be equal to what? F naught v. Observer source is stationary, na? So plus v naught by vs or Doppler circle forces. Okay. Option B will be correct. Use this formula. V is what? Velocity of sound. V naught is velocity of the observer. F is original frequency. Question number 39. The ideal gas heat engine operates in Carnot cycle between 227 degrees Celsius. So higher temperature is given. Temperature of source is given 227 degrees Celsius. Temperature of sink is given 127 degrees Celsius. You need to write in Kelvin first. Convert in Kelvin. Absorb 6 calories from the higher temperature. Q1 is given 6. Amount of heat converted into work is equal to amount of heat converted into work. So work done will be equal to what? This is Q2. Na? Work done will be equal to Q1 minus Q2. Divide by Q2 you do. So Q1 by Q2 is T1 by T2 minus 1. Temperature should be in Kelvin. Now question number 40. The velocity of this is a directly formula based question. V will be equal to E cross B. E cross B. Question number 41. What is flowing continuously from a tap having a internal diameter 8 into 10 power minus 3 meter? The water velocity as it leaves from the tap is 0.4 meter per second. The diameter of the water stream at a distance 2 into 10 power minus 7 below the tap of water. Nice question. Tap water will be somewhat like this. This distance is given how much? 2 into 10 power minus 1 meter. So initial velocity, the water as it leaves tap is, this is given 0.4 meter per second. V you can find, S is given. Now V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. With this we can find V. Once we got V, we can find continuity coefficient. This is A1, this is A2. So A1U equal to A2V. A1U equal to A2. Continuity coefficient. Now question number 42. Work done in increasing the size of a soap bubble from a radius of 3 cm to 5 cm yearly. So work done is increasing the size. So work done will be equal to surface tension time, change in surface area. Change in surface area. It will be twice, right? Change in surface area will be twice. 4 pi r square into 2 will come. Okay, keep it. Next question number 43. Question 43. Certain block of weight 15 Newton in air. It weighs 12 Newton when immersed in water. When immersed in another liquid, 30 Newton. The relative density of the block is. So point force mg minus point force equal to apparent weight mg dash. Based on this you have to use. Okay. Different cases is there. Mg is given how much? 15. point force equal to what? V times rho times G. And G dash. Based on this, two equations will come. Equation 1 with 12 Newton, equation 2 with 30 Newton. Okay. Question number 44. Young's double slit experiment uses a monochromatic source. The shape of the interference fringe formed on the screen is monochromatic source. Shape they're asking hyperbola. Na? Next, when an unpulsed light of intensity I0 is incident on a polarizing sheet, the intensity of the light which does not get transmitted. I0 by 2. It should be a I0 by 2. Okay. So that's all for today's students. Yes, paper was a bit lengthy. Okay. See you till the next session. Thank you.